everyone and welcome back to 2 Minute Info. In today's video, we're going to be discussing how to write a paragraph for fictional text. So let's begin. Now, when you have a fictional text, you want to think about the paragraph as you can see from the topic. Now, the first question that comes to your mind is what is exactly a paragraph? A paragraph is a pattern of sentences about one specific topic. Now these are separated by an inter. Now an average paragraph is about 47 sentences. So let's look at this example. The tree moved around and blah blah blah. Alright, that's going to be one paragraph. And then after that you have a blank space which is going to be your inter. And then after that you start with a new topic. But they both are going to be connected. They're going to be tied up to each other with maybe some keywords from the first one. But they might have slightly different topics that you're going to talk about. Maybe a new character is being introduced or anything like that. You might need two paragraphs for that. So let's move on. The next one is the structure of a paragraph. Now, what is in the structure of a paragraph? What do you need to include in your paragraph? Now, the first one is obviously the introduction. You need to introduce your whole story to the reader because they have no idea what's going on in your mind and what's cooking in there. So you want to do a nice intro which gives a nice brief, kind of like a brief introduction to all your main ideas, what you're going to be talking about. All those things come under here. Now, if you think I'm kind of going with a non-fiction thing, do not think that, because this structure cannot go with non-fictional texts. Just go with fictional texts and it would be better. In non-fictional text, I would include like reports and essays. You might not want to use this structure, but there are different structures for those as well. So the next one is body. So what are you going to include in the body? We're going to discuss that. And then the last one is the communication. We're going to be going into that. What is communication and how are we going to introduce it and all that. So let's begin. Now the first one is the intro, as we discussed. In the intro, you want to include the setting. Now, what is in the setting? In the setting, you want to include like where the story is set. You can include like an island, or you can include it like even you can tell what the time is, like sunset, sunrise, or even in the evening, afternoon, anything like that you want to include in your setting, which is going to be your introduction. The next one is who, meaning who is in your story. Can be your characters, can be maybe a talking tree can be a part of your fictional text. So you want to use those two things. And the third one is introduce new characters, meaning as I said, any characters that you want to include. This kind of ties up with the second point as well. So anything that you have new, coming up new, you want to include in here. But if they're gonna take place in the later of the story, do not include it in the introduction. You might want to open a new paragraph for that specific topic. So let's move on. The next one is body. Body. What do you include in the body? Now, first one is what is happening. So in the last one, you've included who are in the story. You've included where it's taking place. Now you kind of want to talk about what is kind of happening. Like if it was set in a school, the characters, like maybe it's Sam and Glary, something like that. You might want to make them go to science period and they might be doing some experiments, right? That could be one of the things that can be happening in your story. The next one is why. Why is that happening? You want to include kind of like reasons to back up what you've just said. So that you can do something like that in non-fictional text too. But again, let's come back to our fictional text so that we know what we're talking about. The third one is connect. You want to connect your body to your introduction paragraph. So by connecting, you can talk about things, kind of open up on the things that you talked in your intro. Alright, let's move on. What's the next one? The next one is communication. Here you can include one, starting to have some conversations between your characters. Maybe they're doing something. It doesn't always have to be dialogues, but it can be like maybe they're kind of like communicating in some way. The next one is if you have two characters, remember to have in an inter between each character's dialogue, meaning if you have example, how are you? Said Gary, and oh, I'm good, said Flora. Now these two lines, as you can see, are not in the same sentence, kind of, if you get what I mean. They're not connected to each other, they're kind of separated with an inter. There is no blank space, otherwise you would think that that's a new sentence, I mean a new paragraph, but there is kind of like a little jumping to the next line in this example. So that's what you can add in the third part. The next one is thank you for watching. Now in this video we have talked about the structure of a paragraph. Now you want to try writing a paragraph like that in your own time. So maybe you got those things, maybe you didn't, and if you have any questions, do comment down below. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.